I wanna kiss you all over and over and again. Yes, yours truly is back with another video today.
Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
Well, hello there folks, it's yours truly in a rather dimly lit and gloomy setting, and my perverted webcam is zooming in on the lovely assets of Alexa Bliss right behind me. How are you, my darling? Gosh, doesn't she look great? And by the way, this down here is a prototype Kung Fu hot dog 10-gallon silly hat that I had sent to me yesterday, but to be honest, I'm quite disappointed with the design because the guy just actually took my logo, put it on a white patch quilt and stuck it on the hat. A rather lazy design if you will ask me. But something else that isn't very lazy, folks, is Doom, the Dark Ages. I can't get enough of Doom. It's absolutely spectacular. It's unapologetic, but some people have said the Flying Dragon sequence kind of lets the game down a little bit, and the lack of Mick Gordon's iconic score that we first heard in 2016 Doom isn't back because Mick and id and Bethesda didn't part on the best of terms, which is a shame actually, because Mr. Gordon is a very talented individual. But without further ado, folks, Doom, the Dark Ages. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you smash the like button, which I just said, I know, because I'm totally improving this dude like I'm going out of fashion. And speaking of which, Alexa Bliss behind me better keep staying undressed because I quite like that. Anyway, I'll catch you after this, you fools. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the Steam DB charts. Almost 74,000 followers, number 9 on the wish lists, and number 4 in the top sellers, because when you're playing an absolute badass who eviscerates everything in hell, then I would expect that to be a lot more higher. Now imagine if this was the 1980s, folks, and this game came out with these graphics. It would be absolutely spectacular, wouldn't it? Because that's what we all yearn for. But I think this is absolutely wonderful. So again, I predict when this game is released on the 15th of May, I would expect to see a 200,000 player count on Steam DB. Might be a little bit less, but people are just waiting to get their mitts on this. There's a premium edition apparently. I don't know if it's a physical one where you get the art book and the soundtrack, but apparently if you get the digital version, it's a lot more enjoyable because as you look at the artwork in front of your very eyes, it's you just hear the music pulsating through your veins, which I kind of like actually. Beats taking drugs as a recreational excuse. But let's get on with this, folks. Let's look at the total badass scores for Doom, the Dark Ages. Now, by the way, do I have the pop filter, or rather the pop-up blocker enabled? I think I do. Doom, the Dark Ages. I know I'm actually blocking the way here, folks, but you get the gist. It is currently scoring a massive 85. Let me just put that there. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Quoting a Tribe Called Quest. Toy Stow with satisfying combat, fun exploration, and some of the finest accessibility options out there. Doom, the Dark Ages is an epic heavy metal odyssey that proves that iconic franchises is still the king of the genre. And I've got to say, Hugo Martin and co at id Software know what they're talking about. They want to give the fans everything. GameStar has given it a 90, but oddly enough, quotation forthcoming. What are you guys doing at GameStar, you absolute silly billies? GyroOnline.pl is PL Philippines? I have no idea. The Dark Ages is the best post reboot in the series because it takes place before Doom 2016, so that makes absolute sense. It may not distance itself from the predecessors, both are great, but none of them pulled me in so hard and for so long. Are we talking about a game review here, folks, or something else? What's more, I just sat through the end credits and I ... I don't know what they're going to say. Let's just have a look, I'm kind of curious. And I immediately want to begin the slaughter again. Of course you do, because you're a sick individual. IGN Turkey, gobble gobble, it's the third game in the new generation of Doom, the series. And I can easily say that it does not disappoint after its predecessors. So why, guys, in Turkey did you give it an 85?
Bishop Creed, we need him.
In fact, it is a pure-blooded Doom game, although not perfect, with its melee combat dynamics, new and strengthenable weapon options, brand new upgrade systems, and perhaps most importantly, its magnificent atmosphere. Good grief, but still, Turkey, why'd you give it such a lower-than-thou score? Stevivor, do you get it? Because they're a Stevivor. I don't enjoy this style of Doom compared to that of the previous two games. It's not just the Doom I've grown to love. That said, Dark Ages is no way a bad game, but Stevivor, you gave it a 65 out of 100. That's not a good look, dude, or dudette, whoever reviewed this game. Rather silly review. It does actually credence to the fact that I've seen this article flying around, I think it was Kotaku, who else, that talk about the fact that you can now skip boss battles in video games, which is rather silly and rather lazy, because I sit here thinking to myself, I mean, when it comes to movies and you get to the end credits or a TV show, you might want to skip those, with the exception of Banshee, because they always played a badass rock tune at the end credits and then something else popped up after that, which made you salivate for the next episode.
We'll burn the streets, we grow the forest.
But when it comes to video games and bosses, well, think about the developers who put their time and effort into making the ultimate experience for you, right? Why wouldn't you embellish and embrace the punishment? But people at Kotaku, maybe even IGN, who claimed to have played through to the very end of the video game they're reviewing, is disingenuous. You shouldn't have that, and these people should be out of a job, because if they can't sit in front of a camera and show themselves actually playing the video game and the difficulties they came across, then how are we supposed to believe them that they're absolutely genuine? Not back in the good old days of GameTrailers.com or the early reviewers for IGN before it became Babe Station USA. Those guys I actually believed would complete the game to its fullest potential. Even Victor Lucas at Electric Playground, I do believe he actually completes the games. He's a very nice guy. I've spoken to him as a lurker in his channel, so to speak, and he's a really cool dude, so I'd actually believe him as such. But when it comes to the so-called journalists who've been paid, I would imagine, freelance money to do their thing and then mope on off to the next video game they want to destroy with absolute lazy narrative writing. I don't really care about their opinions anymore. It's just like YouTube is such a great thing because you got the freedom of choice to watch who you want to watch. That's right, camera, you pan around and zoom in on Miss Alexa Bliss and a beautiful asset, because quite frankly, folks, it's a time when journalists who review games will be a thing of the past. In fact, I would argue that in the last 10 years or so, it's become that, a thing of the past, a relic like the Tom Sizemore movie with Penelope Ann Miller. But honestly, folks, if you enjoyed my rather silly approach to Doom the Dark Ages, I will be picking up a copy, don't you know, because that's just the kind of girl I am. And honestly, folks, if you enjoyed yourself today, make sure you give this video a like, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and if I were you, and if you were me, you should definitely return for the next video. With the so-called good and bad titles that are
to make sure that there's a good amount of variety. That's actually the point of this, is to avoid repetition, so you don't see the same kind of animation again and again. Even though we have all these different animations in the Glory Kills of 2016 and Eternal, they're directional, so you only see a different animation if you attack an enemy from a different angle.
Like and subscribe, or get your nuts Krogan crushed on Kung Fu Hot Dog.